What up, muchacho? Welcome to Football Digest KE, where we eat, sleep, football, and then repeat. My name is Nyash. Now, in case you live under a rock, you should know there's an African Cup of Nations tournament kicking off in 2 days, starting on 13th of January, this coming Saturday, 2024. All right, you should also know that this tournament, maybe you already know this. If you don't live under a rock, you already know this. This tournament is taking place in Ivory Coast, also known as Cote d'Ivoire. You maybe also know that this is actually Afcon 2023. Now, it did not take place last year when it was supposed to, because the weather conditions in June in Ivory Coast are just out of this world. It's like the World Cup, where it was held in November in Qatar and not in June, like we are used to, because it's just insane. All right, so let's do a brief history of the Africa Cup of Nations so that you know what you're getting yourself into. All right, now the Africa Cup of Nations was first held in 1957 in Sudan. Yes, and it had 4 teams. Ideally, only 3 teams took place. 1 was disqualified. The one that was disqualified was South Africa because of the apartheid rule that was going on in the country at that point in time. So the other 3 countries were Sudan, of course, the hosts, Egypt, and Ethiopia. I'm sure ukaiuliza hiyo kwa quiz huwezi pata. Now you do know. Of course, so being the tournament was to begin in the semis. First one had Sudan playing against Egypt. Egypt won that game, I think, 4-1. The other one was to be between Ethiopia and South Africa. Of course, Ethiopia were given a walkover because South Africa was disqualified. So the final was between Ethiopia and Egypt won that tournament. So they won the inaugural one. They also won the one that followed after that was held in 1959. It's also worth noting that the teams have, of course, increased over time. Started with 3, then they went to 8 in 1968. Then they moved to 16 teams in 1998, and then eventually they have the 24 that we have right now. The 24 teams started taking place in 2017. It's also worth noting that the years of holding the Africa Cup of Nations have changed over the times, right? Started off with the even years where you used to have 2000, 1998, 2002, and then CAF was like, this one is colliding with the World Cup, let's switch it. So from 2013, that's when they switched it to odd years. That's why we have 2013. That's why you have 2015, 17, 19, like that. And of course, that's also why you have an Africa Cup of Nations in 2012, and also why we had Africa Cup of Nations in 2013, like back to back. Yeah, so that's precisely why that has happened. Now, it's also worth noting the trophy you are seeing being given nowadays is actually not the inaugural trophy. This is the 3rd trophy. The first one was called Abdelaziz Abdallah Salem Trophy. This was named after the first CAF president that was from Egypt. And that trophy was given to Ghana to keep it for life. In 1978, after they won, they became the first team to win 3 Afcon tournaments. All right? The second one was called the African Unity Cup. This one was running between 1980 and 2000. And this one was given to Cameroon to keep it for life after winning 3 Africa Cup of Nations tournaments. Now, I don't know why this trophy was never given to Egypt, because by 2000, Egypt had won 3 Africa Cup of Nations tournament. So I don't know, but yeah, anyway, ikaenda hivyo. Then of course the trophy you are seeing now has always been the case since 2002, and it was first given to Cameroon, who in 2002 beat Senegal to win the first trophy that, the one that we are seeing right now. Now, the format for the Africa Cup of Nations, of course, we have 24 teams, so it's not the kawaida one where you have 32 teams and it's a straightforward round of 32. I mean round of 16. So of course, 6 groups. The top 2 teams go to the next round of knockout rounds, and then the 4 that best placed teams, they proceed to join the other 12, and then we have a 16 teams in the round of 16, and that's exactly how we go to the round of 16. Then of course after that we have the quarters and the semis and the finals, and that's about that. So that's a brief history of the Africa Cup of Nations.